Bollywood entertainment, Bollywood gossip, Bollywood classics,
मुझको क्या हुआ है
to the latest hits,
मैं पानी पानी हो गई
local news and events happening around town, giveaways, and lots of musti. This is Namaste Radio. Every Saturday at 10 a.m. on 99.5 FM with your hosts, Vanchika, Sushil, and Sandeep. Listen online at namasteradiohouston.com. Download the app, available on your Android and iPhone. Namaste Radio.
Welcome to India House Houston. India House is a non-profit organization that serves the community by bringing resources, education, and services to Houstonians like health and fitness programs, language classes, charity clinic, and various events. Help the community now. Sponsor a program or volunteer for free food distribution at India House. Host your next indoor or outdoor events at India House facility, parties, weddings, or corporate events. Located centrally at 8888 West Belford, Houston. For details, call 713-929-1900 or visit indiahouseinc.org. Follow India House Houston on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter. Namaste, namaste. Welcome to this special show where we talk about mental health awareness in Asian Americans. Again, welcome to everybody listening to us on 99.5 FM and our Namaste Radio's Facebook page. This is a show brought to you by Namaste Radio in partnership with India House Houston, and it is sponsored by Hawk Foundation and Asian American Health Coalition, AAHC, Hope Clinic. Thank you again to everyone who are joining us on 99.5 FM Namaste Radio's Facebook page. You can also listen to this on our apps on Android and iPhone, on our website namasteradiohouston.com, and also on Alexa. This is a 1 hour show that we will be presenting on every Saturday from noon to 1 p.m. this October. We started with last week talking about domestic abuse. We spoke with Harima Mela from Daya. And here we are today, and we have two more series on October 23rd and October 30th. And again, we are very thankful to India House Houston, Hawk Foundation, and Asian American Health Coalition. This is Vanshika, and today with me taking care of all the technical needs is Sandeep. So thank you so much for joining us. And now I want to welcome and thank our guest speaker for today. A big namaste to you. Firstly, Bhavna ji, thank you so much for being here.
Thank you.
Her name is Bhavna Luthra, and she is a licensed marriage and family therapist and licensed professional counselor who has been in practice for 13 years. She has experience working in hospital, school, and university setting. In her current practice, she provides counseling to individuals suffering from depression, anxiety, and trauma. She also specializes in providing marital and family therapy to families with relationship distress. She is trauma informed yoga therapist and incorporates yogic breathing and posture to heal trauma patients. She is also trained in mind body medicine program and offers mind body skills to clients dealing with trauma due to loss of loved ones, natural disaster, or health crisis. It is my honor to welcome Bhavna ji on our show today. Namaste, Bhavna ji. Thank you so much for being here today.
Thank you, Anshika. Thank you for having me over. Very excited to be part of it. Wish I could be in person, but this is the best we get now.
Absolutely. We are just honored that you're here. And of course, technology, we want to thank the technology that we were still able to do this.
Yes, yes. Thank you.
So,
Thank you.
Bhavna ji, today you chose a very, important topic, which is building healthy relationship.
Mhm.
Uh, to start with, tell us what is a definition of a healthy relationship.
Yes. So I know we were talking about the topic, and I know it's very much relating to the relationship. I know domestic violence is happening among two people. Of course, there's some conflict and it leads to the violence behavior. So I thought we wanted to put it in a kind of a note that, there's some relationship who are not to that extreme. We can save those relationship, marriages, or even partnership. But, so I thought this would be an ideal topic with the current situations with the COVID. A lot of there's an increase in domestic violence. There is, I'm sure you've been covering that extensively, but also there's a lot of distress among couples. I've been noticing because some couples are working from home, and some couples I've seen that one lost the job, and so there's so much distress and managing anxieties. The high anxiety has heightened, among, I mean, with everybody. So when I chose this topic, I was like relationship wellness. That was kind of my mindset, that we always, every relationship has a room for improvement,
Yes.
right? So even if you're saying I'm happy in my relationship, there's always that little tweak we can have, right?
Absolutely.
So the what is healthy relationship is like when you have that trust in the relationship, you have respect, you have honesty, and then you have shared meaning. I'll kind of expand on that. And then you have this, what we call fairness. You have non-threatening, when you can feel safe in the relationship, right? And then you have a friendship. Friendship is friendship and fun, right? When we think about friends, then fun comes right
With it.
next to it. And then the last one is the having that common goal of life in general. And of course, there's another icing, intimacy.
Absolutely.
Intimacy has to be in the relationship, because I see couples, I didn't mention money because money is secondary. This is, I mean, when I talk about relationship, it's very the emotional component our, what do we call, we are wired, certain ways. So this is our emotional needs we have as human being. So this is the basic foundation of any healthy relationship. So,
Absolutely. No,
right?
thank you. Those are great points and very important points. And of course, I'm sure you're going to, elaborate more on this as we talk forward. Because sometimes just thinking about these points, we may only focus on a very basic part. But like you said, that all of them are equally important. And I'm again glad that we're having this conversation, because a lot of times we do feel that okay, I'm in a great relationship, but we can always improve. At this point, before I ask my next question to Bhavna ji, I want to reach out to all of you out there who are listening to us on the frequency or watching this on Facebook live. Firstly, Bhavna ji's information is pinned in the comment section below. So if you want to reach out to her, please feel free, reach out to her directly. This show is for that reason, that if anything she's sharing, she's talking, you relate to it, you want to talk to her in detail, please reach out. And also, if you want to participate during the show, please don't shy away from commenting on our Facebook live. You can be listening on any medium, on any digital platform or frequency, but come down to our Namaste Radio's Facebook live and share a comment, share something that about the show, a feedback also. And Arling's Chinese Cuisine have been very gracious. They told us that we should, have someone pick someone from the comments and give out a $20 gift certificate. So they're always doing these things for the community where we can involve people. And mental health is a very, very, very important topic. So please come forward and share if you'd like to share something. Now, back to you, Bhavna ji. My first question to you about today's topic is what is the foundation of a good relationship? I know you gave us some points, but if you would like to elaborate now on that.
Right. So when I talked about the trust, right? So when people talk about trust, they immediately goes in. People think trust means infidelity versus trust,
Yeah.
but the trust is a lot more deeper than that. And that's why when I work with my trauma clients, and even in some couples, I see that if they had trust issues growing up, right, in other relationship, it sort of comes up in their marriage or even in partnership. So I think that's the core of any foundation of any relationship, just not with a marriage or even in a partnership, romantic relationship, or even with parents, siblings, any relationship, trust has to be there. So I think when we talk about trust, it's more like I can share everything with this person and I won't be judged,
Yeah.
right? I can be vulnerable. I can be me, right? That's how the people say, I can be authentic. I
Yes.
can get up without makeup and he's going to say, you're so pretty.
Yes.
So I can be broke and she could say, you're the wealthiest person in this world. This is what we are looking into, that trusting another human being and being our own core self, right? And that's what honesty sort of ties into it, not hiding anything from your partner purposely, right? And then having the shared goals is like, you know when we develop a relationship, like some marriages is even arranged, right? In our culture, there most of the marriages are not arranged now, but before, people who are struggling with those issues, they don't have common goals when they get into a relationships, right? Because
Right.
somebody say, I just want this wife who's this, and then she says, I want this husband who would be this, and when they come together, they don't have anything in common,
Yeah.
right? They have to start trust, honesty, intimacy, shared goals, all at the same time. So that's why a lot of challenges are there in arranged marriages.
Right.
So
And then that first year or two of marriage is always very challenging then.
very challenges, because I mean, here when we know the partner is somewhat easier, but when you don't have that, then it's just like you're working on all these aspects at the same time. So there are a lot more challenges. So respect is has to be there for your partner, right? If you don't respect, remember earlier I told you in the topic, I said I want to put what's love got to do with it,
Yes.
right? So we say I didn't mention anywhere love, because if you have combination of all this, the love blossoms itself, right? so
Absolutely.
so the respect is like, you respect the person, you could just say, I can never I never can get tired of this person. I can see this person and I have a lot of respect for what he does, what he says. And it's just like that's what it is. You just can't have enough of that person.
Yes. Yes.
That's the respect part, right? When you respect somebody, you're just like, yeah, just tell me more, tell me more.
Yeah.
Um, so when you look at a little child, right, you said we love the child, right? So it's not the love, it's just the everything about that from the child we feel, right?
Yes.
There's a nurturing, there's a caring, the compassion comes from there. And that can have the same feeling you can have for your partner. But we don't able to transfer those feelings for our partner because we are still struggling with these other small things, that trust, the intimacy, the shared meaning. So we struggle with it. And that's when we get stuck in relationships. Like, do I like this person? Do I not like this person? Do I really care? Do I really love? So we go through this like a dwindling phase. Don't know what I want to do with this relationship. Can I go forward or should I just get out? So I'm seeing that more and more these patterns, because there's something holding on to the relationship, but they're having difficulty letting go and still staying in.
Yeah.
So that's what caused the relationship distress, which we'll be elaborate on later.
Okay. So these are basic, these are the basic foundation of a good relationship. And when you explain it that way, I actually think about it that, yeah, trust is so important. If my partner breaks his trust again and again, like if I lose my trust in him, automatically my respects also goes away. I mean, they're also, intertwined with each other. They're all together. So, great point out there. And again, if anybody has any feedback, please mention it on our Facebook page and, in the comments, and ask questions or share feedback. Now, Bhavanaji, you spoke about a little bit about the distress. So, what in detail tell us what leads to relationship distress?
So the distress is when all these things which we were talking about, when you it just sort of all come a question mark.
Right.
Trust, like you said, when you can't trust the partner, you cannot be intimate. So same way, when everything gets into the question mark, do I trust this person? I don't feel that connection. I hear this thing a lot, like, I don't feel the connection. Okay,
Hmm.
tell me more about this connection. What is the missing point about connection?
Yeah.
Connection could be so deeper. That's what I'm saying. When I work with couples, I usually say, have you done your work? Have you done your self work? Because when we haven't done our own work, if we have our insecurities, our own these distrust issues, then it sort of comes into the relationship, and that causes that distress, right?
Yes.
So we all have to do that work for ourselves, so we don't kind of project that in the relationship, right? So if you have that, so then the symptoms, usually what I call the symptoms of distress, is usually like lack of patience, lack of commitment, right?
Hmm.
And then you have this trust issue, mistrust, and then power struggle, right?
Hmm.
I see
Yes.
this with couples a lot, and then ego, right? So it could be both ways, or it could be just one person having more ego, then and
Sure.
then the other one is boundaries.
Hmm.
So even though we are in couples, we could be even sharing same toothbrush, but there has to be still boundaries, right?
Yes.
Like, this is my side of the bathroom, or this is my side of the bed, or this is this, and this is mine, this is yours. But there has to be that respect. What I earlier was saying, the respect and boundaries go hand in hand, right?
Hmm.
We still have this our own self, and then there's a relationship.
Sure. Yes.
It's like I was giving an example of a child. When you have a child, after 3 months, when the baby's ready, you're ready to put them in the in the nursery, right? You don't put them
Right.
in the bed, because
Right.
again, you have to create this sort of space for yourself,
Yes.
right? So same ways, you're in a honeymoon phase, and then after some months, you're just like, okay, ho gaya. I need my space now, right? So
Back to reality.
reality. So we have to sort of respect that boundaries,
Yeah.
of each other, when we test each other's boundaries,
Yeah.
okay? And that we call meshment happens. We depend emotionally on the other person too much. I've
Hmm.
seen that codependency. We use the word in our psychology, that when some relationship are codependent, they have so codependent, then the other one or the other both feel suffocated in it, like,
Yes. Yes.
where are you, why you not home yet, who you with, there's a trust, but then there's the boundaries part, like, okay,
Yeah.
I can have my time too, right?
Yeah.
So
And then checking phones, and that is something like I've always heard a lot. People get really upset about it, that she keeps checking my phone, or he keeps checking my phone. Those
right,
kind of things.
yes, that trust part is always there, right? And then boundaries are sort of get challenged, and then it gets into the distressful stage, right?
Yeah.
So we'll talk about the emotional climate coming coming time, right?
Sure.
That's another phrase I use a lot in my work, is that we always have to check our own self, like, what's the other person is triggering in me, you know. So
That is true. Yes, and I think talk in. You'll share with us how we can take care of that, and always keep a check on that.
yes, yes, yes.
So these were any other anything else related to that you would like to add?
Yeah, so I was saying that these are the symptoms of the distress when you have these. We don't sometimes know the words for it. Like, people who are going through it, they might not be able to pinpoint, but maybe after they listen, whoever is listening, they could just say, "Oh, I never really noticed. I need my space." Right? Maybe
Yeah.
if I had my own space, I might not be as distressed, because couples, after a while, you get so much used to each other, then you don't really think that you need boundaries.
Yes. Yes.
um,
Do you have when couples talk to you, or when you've had people share with you, like they talk about these things a lot, like maybe after 5 years or 10 years of marriage, where they've said that I kind of want to live my life, this in this marriage is not my life alone. I want to bloom outside of it too.
yes, like when you're in a job, you have this burnout phase.
Yeah.
It can happen in the marriage too, because when you're putting too much in the marriage, some couples put a lot. one is putting more. I'm just saying one is more putting more in there than the other. The one who is putting more eventually gets burned out. It's just
Yeah.
like in a work environment when you're putting so much work and the others are just chilling, you're gonna have that phase like what's in this.
Yeah.
So that's where the burnout comes. So it's lack of communication, which I will be talking a lot about. When you see like I want to communicate, I want to connect with my partner, but my partner is very distant, right? So you that distance sort of gets you to the burnout point because you feel alone in the relationship. That's why people seek the infidelity sort of comes from there.
I see.
Right, when you feel like you're putting more in the relationship. I'm not saying that's the only reason. Yes, some people want to have more fun, I guess,
Yeah.
but not most of the people not are like that. They are dissatisfied in the relationship they are in. So inquiring where the dissatisfaction is coming from,
Yeah.
it could be another person is need being honest and trustful, or it could be just your own burnout,
Yeah.
and that's the burnout comes from lack of emotional connection.
Yeah. I think one thing I hear very common, I think when we ladies talk and, we hear that, okay, after 4, 5 years of marriage, like he takes me for granted, so that phrase that, in Indians we see that, okay, ab pat gayi, shadi ho gaya, and all of that. Now it's like she's been taken for granted. I think that's where we feel little left out, right?
Yes, yes. The lack of appreciation, lack of value. We're not being valued in the relationship. Very much true. So I think that's a symptom. That's very much a symptoms that there's some burnout is happening, and it needs to be addressed in the relationship, right? And it
It's
has.
always good to talk about it, right?
Yes, creating a safe place. It's see what we get into is more like escalation stage, right?
Mhm. Mhm.
And when the escalation happens, you invalidate your partner's emotional feelings, right? Emotions and feelings, right?
Yes.
So when you say, "I don't feel valued in this relationship," you take me for granted. See, when we are doing that, we're basically putting that little bucket where we're just like it's you're pushing the person away more. So you just have to create an environment to have the conversation. So I recommend every couples to have at least 30 to 45 minutes, no matter how busy you are. 15 minutes, 30 minutes, 45 minutes, whatever your time allows. Sit down every evening together. Even if you have little kids, you have to take that time out to just ask each other, how was your day? Like if she said, I think I need to really talk to you. I'm having a horrible blah 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 blah. So the guy was like, oh, why did I even ask how was your day? so so I will recommend people to write letter to your spouse, if you don't get time. So maybe you say, hey, I need to vent, so I'm writing this letter or email or message, but we don't have to talk about it today. We need to set up a time to address it. I mean, I've seen that couples like who are working different shifts,
Yeah.
morning, evening, so overlapping. It's not by choice they don't want to take time out. It's just how life is.
Yeah.
So you just sort of set that time aside. So you don't get into this escalation stage where just like one is just always like bickering, nagging, blaming. So that's where the all these not taking he's taking me for granted, not feeling valued, all those feelings comes, right? And then we get labeled with, oh, you're so insecure,
Yeah.
right? It's not the insecurity, it's invalidated, right? We're not validated in the relationship. So there's like this void comes in.
Absolutely. And at this point, again, I want to reach out to all our listeners, our viewers who are watching us live on Namaste Radio's Facebook page right now. If you can relate to this, and if you are relating to this, Bhavna ji's information is down in our comment section. It's pinned. Reach out to her. She's giving out some great tips so that it'll just help improve your daily life. So reach out to her, and also you can also reach out to us directly, and we can connect you to her. Now we've been talking about the foundation of relationship, the distress, and Bhavna ji did touch on some important points on improving it. But of course, I would like to ask you in detail, Bhavna ji, how can one work on improving the relationship in detail, please?
Yes, yes. So keeping that in mind is accept your personal responsibility. That's the first thing. We in the relationship, even in a work environment or even in family, we always have, let's blame this person, right?
Yes.
It's not my fault, it's the other person, it's always the other person, right?
Yes.
So it's like assuming the personal responsibility. What can I do? What can I do? What can I change? Not just changing about your own self, it's sometimes just the circumstances. So that's what I'm saying. When you have a relationship, it's like a situation. It's not anything about you or me or him. It's always about, it's in between. Relationship is in between. So
Yes.
look at something in between. What is that in between can be fixed? What is that in between needs nurturing and caring, right? So that's what I'm saying, taking that responsibility to take care of this in between us thing. So don't look at like, let me fix this person, or I have to change, I have to work, like I hear that, I work so hard for this relationship, the other person is not doing the part. See, you're already putting the blame, right?
Yes.
So taking like, building my point, brownie points here, right? So just taking the responsibility, like, okay, maybe he's not making an effort, like what can I create that he sees that he needs to make an effort.
Sure.
If he
Yes.
still doesn't see it, then of course the communication part comes in, like we are not maybe communicating at the same level. So that has to change, right? So then the other one is the assume the goodwill. Like you always see, don't see that he doesn't want it, he doesn't need, care for it. Assuming the goodwill is like you always see the goodness in the other person,
Yes.
right? If you start already speculating, oh yeah, he's not home yet, he must be with his friend at the bar, right?
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
assuming the things, so assume think, oh maybe that person got stuck somewhere at work, or maybe he's doing something, planning something for us. So assuming the goodwill helps the mind, right? Again, we have to keep our mind clean,
Yeah.
right?
Like
I
a
mean,
positive thought is always better. Yeah.
yes, yes, keeping always that, like we are, he's trying or she's trying, and being very patient. Like we don't have patience. We don't have nowadays patience. Like my birthday is coming, I need to know what is he planning, what is he doing.
Yeah.
We want what exactly the other party, my other girlfriend got. Some just human nature. We want more. It's
Yes.
just a tendency to think more. From more comes the impatience part, right? And then be resilient. Be resilient in relationship. I'm not saying be you have to bear so much pain in relationship. That's not what I mean. Be resilient in like some things just maybe not working right, but I need to just sit with it,
Yeah.
right? And maybe it's not the good time. Maybe we're going through some tough time, right? And it's okay, to be in the tough, because that's where the good comes.
Yes.
So being resilient and basically form positive beliefs, right? Having that belief that this will work out, right?
Sure.
And even if it doesn't work out, it's still okay,
Absolutely. Yeah.
right? So we don't attach those feelings with the relationships, because we are always assuming the worst.
Absolutely. So keeping a positive mindset is very important.
Because that's what drives the relationships, right?
Beautiful.
Positivity in everything. People talk about yoga, meditations, like I'm trained in those things, but I really see that if you're not in positive state of mind, you can't meditate. You can't do it. Can't be yogi. You can't be, be a good human being, like a good person. Before you're a good partner, you have to be a good person
Absolutely.
for
Yes.
your own self, right?
Yes.
So being centered, be resilient, and assume the goodness in the world. Right?
Absolutely. Beautiful points, Bhavna ji. Thank you so much for sharing all of that. One thing I definitely, would say that, like Bhavna ji's been saying, communication is very important. If you ever feel that pressure, if you ever feel, something's not going wrong, I think communicate. It's very important. And like you said, Bhavna ji, that, share with each other. I think me personally, my husband and I, one thing we definitely do, We may not have time to sit with each other throughout the day, but that morning tea, that 15 minutes, we that's like a ritual for us. We definitely spend that time together, and a lot we share a lot during those 15 minutes. It can be good, bad, what we are going to do, what we did. So, and I guess that's kind of my therapy of the day. That's like my
Mhm.
feel good time of the day, and that's how I start my day. So I'm
That's
so
a good.
glad when you said that.
Yes, actually, you said very beautifully that every family should have a ritual, right? Like
Yeah.
you have a puppy. I see his pictures all the time. It's like you have this ritual, right? Like
Yeah.
we call it taking dog for a walk. Well, it's a walk. Like you're supposed to take dog for a walk because after a while it becomes a ritual,
It
right?
does, it does. And when we take ours for a walk, and actually that is pretty much a family time we get during, for my husband, he always tells me, so what, even if we are working out together, at least that's the way we are spending our time together. Otherwise we don't get time.
Yes.
So,
No,
perfect.
it's true. People who work together, I've seen some couples, they have a businesses together or they're working in the same place, and people think, how do you guys keep that? Like you see each other all day long. How does this work? Like you don't you get enough of each other? But
Yeah.
it's just like how are you spending the time, right? When
True.
you're working, you're working, but when you're home, you have to just shift that, right? The role where you are dog mom or your wife, so you have to, or husband, you have to fill in those roles, and then you have to create that space to be that person, right?
Absolutely. And
Acknowledge that right now I'm being a wife, right now I'm being a mom, right now I'm being a
yeah.
business lady. So you have to see that you can be the same person all day long,
Yeah.
right, and not have enough of each other, right?
True,
It,
absolutely, absolutely.
it's
And now, on this note, Bhavna ji, we will take a quick ad break. We will be back. To everyone listening to us out there, this is Namaste Radio. This is our special series on mental health awareness in Asian Americans, brought to you by Namaste Radio, India House Houston, and sponsored by Hawk Foundation and Asian American Health Coalition. We'll take a quick ad break and we will be back. We are in conversation with Bhavna Luthra. Stay tuned.
Let's go! Bollywood entertainment, Bollywood gossip, Bollywood classics,
मुझको क्या हुआ है
to the latest hits,
मैं पानी पानी हो गई
local news and events happening around town, giveaways, and lots of musty. This is Namaste Radio. Every Saturday at 10 a.m. on 99.5 FM with your hosts, Vanchika, Sushil, and Sandeep. Listen online at namasteradiohouston.com. Download the app, available on your Android and iPhone. Namaste Radio.
Welcome to India House Houston. India House is a non-profit organization that serves the community by bringing resources, education, and services to Houstonians like health and fitness programs, language classes, charity clinic, and various events. Help the community now. Sponsor a program or volunteer for free food distribution at India House. Host your next indoor or outdoor events at India House facility, parties, weddings, or corporate events. Located centrally at 8888 West Belford, Houston. For details, call 713-929-1900 or visit indiahouseinc.org. Follow India House Houston on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter. Welcome back. Namaste, everyone. This is Vanshika. You are listening to Namaste Radio. This is a special series on mental health awareness in Asian Americans. I am in conversation with Bhavna Luthra, and Bhavna ji has been talking to us today about building healthy relationships. Now, Bhavna ji, before we go to the next question, I want to remind everybody that Bhavna ji's information is pinned in the comments section below. So if you are listening to us on the frequency 99.5 FM or on any digital platform, you can always reach at Namaste Radio's Facebook page. We are live right now, and you can see her information and always give us your feedback. You can participate by sharing comments below. Now, Bhavna ji, we have been talking about relationship, and communication was one thing that were talking about. So, what are the signs of a broken communication? Would you like to share something about that?
Um, yes, before I get to that, I want to talk about communication itself. Like,
Perfect. Yeah.
right? It's an art, right?
Yeah.
So, like we're talking, it's an art. It's a given art. We are taking turns, right? We are pausing, we are processing, and we are sort of cueing into each other, right? And so we do that good job with the children. I give example a lot about children because that's the only where we are our best. Because so when we come to as a same level as a couple, we somehow we sort of throw that away, that feeling, right? So it's an art. So first of all is the listening, right? That listening part, and then the second is like slowing down. Have to sort of, when you're speaking, I'm slowing down, I'm listening and paying attention, and I cueing into that. Okay, this is what I say. She's asking me, and I have to respond in a very slowing process, right? Not like la la la, la, But
Right.
that happens when we have a conflict, right? But I think that's the art every couple has to learn when they get married. So I do give premarital workshops, which will be once again we talked a little bit about that. So I think every person who gets into any relationship, not just the marriage itself, any relationship, it doesn't have to be husband and wife. It could be husband husband, wife wife. I work with all LGBTQ community, so it's open. I'm just putting it out there. So it has to be looked at that how we are communicating, how we are listening, right? Part, and then always thinking that I'm not right, always right. First of all, I throw that out. It's just, we have to think like I'm not right, and I don't have to win the argument. Right? That
True.
happens a lot. Like I have to have the last word. Right? I sometimes say that even in my relationships, like, oh, you have to have the last word. No, I'm going to have the last word. Sometimes when I do that, it's sort of like it becomes like a laughing thing.
Yeah.
Whatever the serious we are not or we're going into, then I sort of catch myself. So we have to sort of catch ourselves if it's escalating, right? From the tone, how our tone changes, how quickly how fast we start learning the words, right? Pay attention to that when you talk to your partner. Like when you talk to your mom or your dad and your partner or your child, see how you talk, like how
Sure.
your speech is. And I think that's very, very, it's an art, and everybody should work on that. I think everybody, like I work on that time to I'm like, oh no, I see myself, my anxiety is building up, and I think I'm talking fast. That shows me that I am anxious. So I think with couples, we don't really see that what the other person is going through. Maybe there is anxiety building up or anxiousness, but that sort of comes into the relationship and it affects our communication,
Yeah.
right? So it's like keeping check of your emotional climate, and then be very empathetic when you're listening to talking to somebody, and without making any judgment, and forgive, right? In last few weeks, I have heard from people which was not very beautiful to my heart. I heard things which was like, oh, why that person is saying that?
Yeah.
Why are they not thinking? But then I was just like, no, I'm just going to be very empathetic. I don't know where they are in their life, right? What they're going through. They don't mean it. Like assume the goodwill, right? And then be very forgiving. Like don't drag it with you. Whatever they said, leave it there. And I
Sure.
think we drag it with us.
Yeah.
And especially in our closer relationship, whatever the other person negative says that, then we carry, we let it sit there, we let it simmer there till it becomes really toxic.
Yes. Yeah.
Right? So that toxicity we talk about in relationship, that's what it is. It's not something in there. It's just we create in us. and we let it simmer, and that sort of project into our communication, right? So that's where the emotional climate I will talk about in
Okay.
maintain. So assume the goodwill and always say that I'm going to be empathetic, I'm going to be forgiving, and I'm going to be non-judgmental, right? So that's the art,
I
right?
see.
So you wanted to you were asking the signs, right?
Yes.
Signs of broken communication is when we get escalated, like
Mhm.
we raise up our voice and we are like, "Da, da, 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 da,"
The tone can actually decide whether a couple can end up having a good communication, a discussion, or an argument, right?
Yes, yes, argument. And I've seen that with when my kids were young. I remember they, in the coaches, like football coach or
Hmm.
basketball, whichever coach they were playing the sports, they are like, "Da, da, 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 you have to just fix this. Why are you playing this way?" It's so nasty in their tone, right?
Yeah.
So that's more of like invalidation, but the escalating at the same time. The children can't speak, but their emotions are escalated that they carry that with them, and that sort of gets projected into the other relationship. Like they get angry at their parents, they have fights with their friends because
Yep.
they escalated here, right?
Hmm.
The intensity of emotions are still there, but the coaches escalated them, but they got escalated.
Yeah.
So we have to always keep checking our relationship with our partner, that where we are, like if the person is putting me down or saying, blaming me, criticizing me, what's really happening? I feel like I want to get up and choke this person, That's the escalation part, right?
Yeah.
Because, and then there's invalidation. Like we don't even care about the other person. You can go blah 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 blah. I don't. You don't exist for me. Like you're done. I'm done with you, right?
Yeah.
So we totally invalidate their emotions. We invalidate their presence altogether, right?
Mhm.
So that's like a broken communication. I don't even. You're in my house, but I don't know you, and I don't know what you're doing. But so their relationship come to that distress level. So
Wow.
then withdraw. From there, the withdrawal comes like
Hmm.
silence. Silence. You're just like, you are here and I'm there. We're maybe in same room or still silent, or we move out of each other's room, and or even so they are withdrawing from each other. And sometimes we are okay, but then we still withdraw for some time. Then we come back. So silent treatment. People say men do more than the other, right?
Hmm.
So that's the withdrawal part because they don't know if they get escalated, they might get violent
Yeah.
verbally. So they withdraw. And women, we are nagger, and men, we call it, we are pursuer, and they are withdrawer. We're known for that.
Yeah.
That's how we are wired. And then we have this negative interpretation. Everything we do, we say, we started assuming the worst. So, and that's where these are the danger signs of broken communication. So I
Yeah.
want everybody to know escalation, invalidation, and then withdrawal, and then negative interpretation. Yeah, these are the four major signs of broken communication in any relationship. Right?
Sure, sure. Yeah. And one thing, what you shared, a little while back was to leave that emotion at that point because, I mean, just out of my own experience, I could say that, if I've had a argument, it could be with any one person, not necessarily with my husband or my mom or my dad. But if I carry that tone, that emotion, I'm gonna probably, if somebody tries to cut me while driving, I'm gonna honk at them. I'm going to be rude to even a server at a restaurant. I mean, even basic things, we just, our tone is so different if we carry that emotion throughout with us. So that's
Yes.
a very beautiful point, Bhavna ji, that to leave it there, to not, to forget it, forgive that, let it go.
Yes,
Um,
very beautiful. Exactly. You say, let it go.
Absolutely.
It's beautiful.
So,
Everything comes from children thing. Let it go. It's just that word you said, just that song just played in my head.
oh, absolutely. So, though, yeah, so those were some signs of broken communication that Bhavna ji shared. And now, we have some time left for the show. So, I'm going to move forward and ask her about. So, now we know about communication, we know about broken communication. Now, how do we work on improving that communication? Please share with us about that, Bhavna ji.
So it's like I was telling you, keeping your emotional climate in check,
Yes.
right? Like you were saying that now being more self-aware. You just said, when you have something happen between you and your mom or dad or somebody, friend, then it just carries with us, right?
Yeah.
So being very self-aware, and people say, "Oh, I have anger issues. Let's meditate." No, 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 no. That's not how it works. There's a lot more involved. I see a lot of people do that. They're just, yeah, I don't have anger issues anymore because I've started doing meditation. I was like, really? It didn't work for me, but which meditation are you trying? Because I definitely tried many.
Yeah.
So I think it's sort of like being in the awareness when in the moment, in the
Mm-hmm.
moment when you in that escalation stage, in that stage of invalidation, that's when you say, whoa, what's happening here with me, right?
Yes.
And being more aware, being more present with yourself, and saying, I can change this. I can change this. I can work at it. Just like that's why a lot of self books are there. There's
Yeah.
audibles are there. That sort of helps you. So having the self talk, right?
Mm-hmm.
They say if you want to see the change, be the change.
Be the change.
Be
Yes.
the change, and that has to be in the house. If you I've seen, I've seen people like they're doing so much good for the world, but they're just not doing good for themselves. Like when I say relationship is what between me and you, right? So there's me involved, so why don't we work on the me here? So just being more aware, catch yourself before you fall, you know in the relationships. I'm not saying all marriages can work, but most of the marriages where there's no violence,
Yeah.
right? Right, that violence doesn't have to be physical violence. There's emotional violence, abuse there too. So if
Yeah.
it's not that point, then there's a hope, right? I want at least, if don't throw the towel, just give your best before you say I'm done.
Sure.
Right?
Yes.
Because the relationship where you learn about yourself.
Yeah.
You can't learn about yourself just being you.
Yeah. Yeah.
You learn about yourself through others.
Yeah.
So being in relationship, you can have 20, 30 serious relationship. Every time you go through it, it teaches you something. You
Absolutely.
grow from it, right? They
Yeah.
say that. So it's just see that failure as even your success,
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
right? There's a growth there. So looking at that way, and then just when you look communication wise, if we broken communication, how we can improve is when you're having a conflict, see that conflict is about something happened, then you look at the behavior part of the person, not judge the person itself.
Sure. Sure.
Right? See, we tend to attack by saying you did this wrong, you're a liar, you're a cheater, So we start going into that mode rather than saying, what was the reason you lied to me?
Ah,
What
that's so
was
important.
the reason you lied to me? So you're not saying the situation, that in between, right? You're saying, what was the reason you lied to me? I'm here. I
Mhm.
won't judge you. See, when you create that safety
Yeah.
for the person where that they can be open with you, then they will tell the reason without feeling attacked.
Yeah. Yeah. Oh, yeah. It totally changes the scenario. Like, why are you lying to me, and what was the reason you're lying to me is a very different. Yeah.
Yes. So
Absolutely. No.
start with what,
Mhm.
not why. Change why to what.
Okay.
Why did you lie to me? What was the reason you lied to me? See, you put the reason in between. Circumstances. The person is not the bad sometimes. Most of the time, we are born pure human beings, right? Like
Yes. Yes.
divine being, we call it each other. That's why we call namaste.
Yes, yes. And even with relationship, Bhavna ji, like I don't, it's very rare that anybody wants to get into a marriage to get divorced, right? I mean, nobody wants to do that. Everybody gets in with a good intention. But yes, communication going wrong, the tone going wrong, no trust. All of that is you know are the factors that lead to people getting divorced. But emotion is very important too, right? And I think one thing that I would definitely want to ask you is, there are always these triggers in that can
Mhm.
emotionally trigger you, and either you become so angry, or you just become so sad. So tell us a little about that, like how to understand those emotional triggers, because probably as a partner, if I have those triggers, I myself would understand, and I would love for my partner also to understand that.
Yes. So first we have to see that what's the reason triggers me, right?
Hmm.
Like again, going back to our childhood traumas, going to our upbringings, we cannot shake that.
Yeah.
That's in us, right?
Yeah.
Don't separate yourself. You let your trauma be your strength, right? So when I say, of course, you have to work through that, but use that as your strength, not as your like taking that victim state of mind. Like we get into that sometimes. I've
Yeah.
gone through so much in my life, and I don't want to go through this anymore. You know, I hear that. I don't want this anymore. So this is what you have to see that. Like, don't use your past as your weakness. Make it as a strength. Like, I have this thing. I've worked through it. I know this. I can change this, right? I can change this. I can bring the change. I don't let this thing become the trigger in my relationship.
Yes.
So because our past comes to the front, it could be past relationships you've been in.
Hmm.
Like I was saying, every relationship changes you, teaches you something, but it also teaches you what not to do. Like, don't trust this person again. He's just like the little whatever ASS, you know. He's still being the other person, so I don't want to trust this guy. But no, don't let that affect you, right?
True.
Don't bring your past to bring become a trigger. And then see that little things, like, is it what is the you're part of the jealousy, is it the money, is it the family values, is it that what certain habits of the person, what's triggering you? Okay,
Hmm.
so why is it what part of that? Not why. What's triggering you? Well, what about you that it's becoming triggered?
Yes.
Right?
Yes.
Of course, this person is like that. What is it in you is being triggered? Then you introspect into that. Right?
Hmm.
Then you could see that, okay, maybe it's something I have to work something in between, or is it something I have to do on my own?
Sure.
Right? That's where you look into your past and see, not projecting into the future. So you have to look at that. If the person's behavior, like if their tone of voice is you don't like, or they're yelling you don't like, see, that is in between part, and
Yes.
then you can work on it. But is there something core habits of the person is you don't like certain way, he snores or talks, you just have to see that what it is and communicate about it without being triggered, without using those blame tones.
Absolutely.
Yes.
Great points out there, Bhavnaji. Today, we discussed about building healthy relationships. We discussed a lot of topics, and thank you so much, Bhavnaji. Even with this 1 hour of discussion with you, I feel so much uplifted at this time. And I personally, I am going to use some of these very important points that you gave me, because it's needed. We may think, oh, like you said, everything's going good, but for it to last like that forever, to be good forever, I need to constantly keep working on my relationship. So I'm going to use a lot of what you shared with us today. And if you're out there, you've heard this show, even if you're just tuning in, you can always hear this entire show on Namaste Radio's Facebook page. It's going to be there, and we're going to share the podcast on Monday. But at this point, I also want to share about India House Houston. They have various different free classes that they offer for mental health. Bollywood, PolyX fitness, yoga classes, art classes, and they also have relationship coaching that they do. So all you have to do is call India House Houston at 713-929-1900, and you can get an appointment and you know talk to someone out there. Also at Hope Clinic, you can reach out at 713-773-0803 extension 196, and talk to someone at their behavior department. The reason we do this show is for you to understand that it is okay for you to feel what you're feeling. But these are some resources that we want you to reach out. I have pinned Bhavnaji's information in the comment section below, but at this point, I'll also request Bhavnaji to give us your contact information so that if somebody needs to reach out to you, Bhavnaji, they can do that directly.
Okay. My phone number is 281-773-3649. And my email is 736heal@gmail.com. And you can call or email whichever way. So thank you so
And,
much.
and, and
Yeah.
your number again, Bhavnaji.
Yes, 281-773-3649.
Thank you so much. And
I want to add three sentences.
sure.
While you were saying that, it just came to me for every couple partners out there. I want to share that. Just always think like what's working and what's not working. When I said meet every evening, 30 minutes. What's working in my relationship starts with always with a positive note, and what's not working, and what can I do on my side to improve it. You know.
Perfect. Perfect. So, what's working, what's not working, and what can I do to improve it? Perfect. Thank you so much, Bhavnaji. And it has been a pleasure to have you on our show. I'm so glad that you finally were able to make it to the show and really enlightened us. And I'm sure a lot of people are going to take so much away from this that they can apply to this, all of this to their daily lives. So before we let you go, anything else you would like to share?
That's it. Just take care of yourself. We keep on doing your work, part of the work in the relationship. You know.
Absolutely. Thank you so much. Again, thank you to everybody out there who tuned in today. Hope you enjoyed our show today on mental health awareness in Asian Americans. We want to thank India House Houston for giving us this opportunity. You can visit their website at India House Inc. INC. So that's indiahouseinc.org, and follow them on Facebook and Instagram. We also want to thank Hog Foundation and Asian American Health Coalition for sponsoring this series. This is a third time that we're doing this. We will be back next Saturday talking to another speaker on mental health awareness exactly or at noon next Saturday, October 23rd. And we will be available on 99.5 FM. On Namaste Radio's Facebook page, we will be Facebook Live. And don't forget to follow Namaste Radio on Facebook and Instagram. Thank you so much. Thank you, Bhavna ji. You have a great day. Thank you so much.
Bye-bye.